Good morning and welcome to the board meeting of the trustees. We'll ask the secretary to please call the roll.
Trustee Atkins.
Here.
Trustee Berg. Here. Trustee Canada. Here. Trustee Hershey. Here. Trustee Jenkins.
Here.
Trustee May. Here. Trustee McGinnis. Here. Trustee Mailer. Here. Trustee O'Malley.
Here.
Trustee Rowe.
Here. All right, we have a quorum. The adoption of agenda. The trustees, please note that there are items on your agenda that need to be adopted. Before I call for a vote, are there any items that you wish to be extracted from the consent agenda? Hearing none, I move for adoption of the agenda, which includes the consent agenda with no extraction. So do we have a second? Second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed, signify by saying nay. All right, the agenda is adopted. The minutes of the June 10th, 2022 board meeting were circulated in advance. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes? Do we have a motion to approve the minutes since there are no corrections?
So moved. Seconded.
Second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed, signify by saying nay. Minutes are approved. At this time, I recognize President Licari, who will introduce today's campus spotlight. President Licari, please.
Thank you, Chairman Atkins. I am pleased to introduce Dr. Joe Baldwin and David Davenport this morning. Dr. Baldwin is the Director of Student Conduct and Case Management for the Division of Student Affairs. She's been in this role for 6 years, but also previously served as an area coordinator in residence life here at Austin Peay. She's a two-time alumna of Austin Peay with a bachelor's degree in education and psychology and a master's degree in management. Her work is nationally recognized, and she serves in leadership roles in her national professional associations. Mr. Davenport is the Director of University Recreation and has been with Austin Peay for 19 years. He is an active community leader, serving in leadership roles in our Rotary clubs in the community and the Rotary District, as well as serving as president of the Hopkinsville/Fort Campbell alumni chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity. His work is also nationally recognized, and he has served as president of the National Intramural and Recreational Sports Association. So, Joe and David.
Thank you so much for having us today to talk about these critical areas on our campus. I'm going to cover our student counseling and health services area. But first, I'd like to introduce you to our brand new Director of Counseling and Health Services, our Dr. Crystal Henson, who is also alum of Austin Peay. She graduated in 2001 from our clinical psychology program. So we're happy to have her here with us, and she's starting on or finishing up week 2, so brand new. The counseling services area also has 3 full-time counseling staff, and I join the counseling staff as the case manager once a week to kind of round out that, to make that connection between their services, but also to the larger campus community. They offer individual therapy. Each student is entitled to 12 free sessions with our counselors in the art building. We also offer group counseling, which is when students find a common interest and they want to bond over that interest while also engaging in conversations about mental health. And then we have Let's Talk, which is a mobile consult is what I'm going to call it. So our counselors leave the art building and they go out into our campus community and different buildings and other areas to meet students where they are and talk about the process of therapy and talk about what services can be offered over in the art building. And then they do community outreach, and by community, I mean campus community, where they might set up a table inside the university center to talk to students about things like depression or relationship, healthy relationships, those kinds of things. And finally, the case management aspect, which is my role, and I really just kind of try to connect students with services on campus that they might require as well as within the greater Clarksville community, if their, needs are greater than what we might be able to serve on campus. So top 4 issues that our students nationally and on our campus are facing: depression, anxiety, stress, and relationship issues. Our students are going through transitions while they're here. And so they struggle in these areas, and these are the areas that we will focus on in student affairs. We did participate in the 2019 National College Health Assessment, and we'll be doing that assessment again this year, this fall. And these were national survey results. So this is collectively every school that participated in the NCHA. And you can see that students today are really willing to seek out help, but there are some very concerning things that we've not seen. So we have nearly 10% of people saying that they have self-inflicted injury upon themselves, and that 3% have said that they have attempted suicide in the last year. So these are critical issues that we have to address. Our students, so this is from the same survey, but these results are from our students at Austin Peay. And again, these are results from 2019. But 56% of our students that were surveyed indicated that they were moderately to severely anxious. We have a large population of depressed students, and that over half of them say their mental health affects their physical health, which we know. And so we are actively working to do that. And of course, one of the ways we do that is in our counseling center. We've seen last spring, so just in the spring semester, we saw about 481 individuals for individual therapy. We expect that number to probably double this fall, because we are now at number one, we're fully staffed this fall. So our capacity is much larger, but we know our demand will be the same, if not more. In our health services area, we have an assistant director, Jill DeGraw, she's a nurse practitioner. And then we have Rhonda Lafferty, who is also our nurse practitioner, and 2 certified medical assistants over in the Boyd Health Services area. They provide services such as no cost sick and well visits. There's not a cap on those, so a student can go to the health services area as often as they need to. They also offer gynecological services, immunizations, medication management. So if a student comes here with, say, severe allergies and they need allergy injections, they can simply just go to the ARD building and get those. We also have a diagnostic testing lab. This lab was established in the 2020-2021 academic year to address COVID. We have decided to keep that space open and running, and that will result in reduced wait times for results to our students. So prior, we would have to send those tests off to an off-campus lab and wait for the results to return. Now we will have those results within 24 hours, maybe 48, depending on the test, but we'll have a quicker turnaround. And in addition to that, it'll expand our academic capacity in our medical lab sciences area, because it's going to offer approximately 20 more seats to those students for clinical training. So what are we doing about this? This is Claudia Alonso. She is our coordinator for student wellness and prevention. Claudia is in charge of kind of educating our students in all of the areas I've just given you an overview of. So she is going to provide programming and things that are outside of the clinical setting for our students to engage in. But more specifically, she does our wellness assessment. So she'll be in charge with Dr. Katie Bliss in doing the NCHA survey collection this semester. She will do vaccine awareness, alcohol and other drug prevention and awareness activities, suicide awareness and prevention, And then she also does a great job in creating partnerships with our outside community. She's already brought in a little over $10,000 in grant money to address these things. So we're super proud to have her here and that area fully staffed. I'm going to turn it over to David.
Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for having us again. As Joe said, what you see on the screen now is the University Recreation staff. We're almost fully staffed. We're missing two staff members. One has been hired and another one the search is out for, and that'll be the fitness and aquatics person. In addition to the staff you see on the screen, we have 10 to 15 part-time staff. Fitness instructors, our personal trainers, individuals that have a specialization in those areas, along with 60 to 80 student staff to help us operate the facility. Some of our services that we do offer: intramural and sport clubs, fitness and wellness, Govs Outdoors, if you like to go hiking and camping, aquatics, and then we do offer a junior Gov summer camp for the summer, mostly for our faculty and staff on campus, but we do open to the community as well. Some of the spaces that we have that you guys got to visit some last night, fitness center itself. In the fitness centers, we have our gym and racquetball courts. Outside, adjacent to the Dunn Center, we have the outdoor sand volleyball courts that we partner with athletics on, and I'll talk about that in a second, along with our intramural field and our Dunn fields. We recently opened the outdoor challenge low ropes course on the opposite side of the Dunn Center, and now we're preparing for a high ropes course as well to help with team building and some of those outdoor risk management opportunities that people look forward to. Some of our highlights in the facilities: we do have about 77,000 visits per year. We do partner with the community on rentals to help us from a revenue generating standpoint. We offer sport clubs to students as well. We have opportunities for adaptive recreation, which we're expanding as well for those who have physical and non-physical disabilities. We did a study several years ago with a previous provost where 100% of our freshmen who tested facility that year returned to class the following semester, which speaks to our retention that wellness and healthy mind, healthy body speaks to. We are the largest student employer on campus. And again, Dr. LaCari mentioned my role as national president of the we do partner with as many constituents around campus as possible. Joe mentions counseling service, where we partner with Let's Talk, and they use our facility where a student will be a little bit more comfortable talking to a counselor in that space. We do have a private room for them, but they're a little bit more comfortable to come in and meet with that counselor at that time. We partner with Claudia on some of the student wellness initiatives. Athletics, as I said, we partner with the sand volleyball pit, the women's volleyball team, and it converted to NCAA outdoor volleyball. We also partner with it basketball teams and whoever needs indoor space at a time to have some practice and use our team building activities, and then come in after all our student athletes. They're students first and then athletes as well. We just recently partnered with Clarksville Montgomery County School Systems with the high school health fair, college fair. That was the night before you guys visited. We had 80 schools in the center, giving opportunities to the high school juniors and seniors. And as you see in the picture, we partnered with ROTC, that's their PT training and aquatics opportunities. Also wanted to mention that we are open to the community. We don't advertise that because we want to keep the student centered as best we can, but we are open to community members. We try to keep the rate a little bit higher than students, but we're pretty competitive, where for about $40 a month, we can get you in and use the entire facility. So I heard some of you mentioned last night, you want to come visit, We're glad to have you. Any questions of myself?
You may have covered it. This is available to the faculty and staff as well, that you're looking out for their wellness and not just the students?
The faculty and staff can visit the health services side. Our counseling center is specifically for students.
From the recreation side, several years ago, Dr. Sherry Hoppy partnered with HR to make it part of the benefits for the faculty and staff, so they can utilize the facility.
Okay, question. I'm just wondering, is there a questionnaire for students coming through health and wellness as far as like a mental health assessment?
Every student who visits the counseling side of the house takes an assessment before they see their provider to measure whether or not they're high risk, like where they are on that specific day in that moment. But the NCHA, that larger survey will be done again this fall.
Yeah, I'm just wanna know my providers, every year that I go in, they'll ask, as far as where your mental health status is, how
Yes,
much alcohol.
yes,
Usually they have that too, which is an indicator for, needed services in the future also. So
yes. Yep, we do the BHM 20.
So you do the survey every year or every 2 years?
So the NCHA, the national one where we can pull our own data, that's done every 2 years generally. Because of the pandemic and we didn't have our people here, we did not do it in 2021. So we are doing it this fall to get back on track.
I would assume that's voluntary. It's not.
Yes, so there's a random sample drawn from each classification, so there will be 500 freshmen, X number of sophomores, juniors, seniors, and grad students, and they will send out, and it's all voluntary, and we'll offer incentives to get as much information as we can.
I noticed there were an assistant director and 2 nurse practitioners at the Student Health Center. I'm maybe dating myself, Student Health Center. So is there a full-time director?
No, the director is Crystal, and she's the director for both of those areas. Jill is the assistant director / nurse practitioner in art, yeah.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
I served as chairman of the Veterans Affairs Committee in Congress. 2009 or 10, we were spending $1.5 billion a year on mental health services. In 2020, we were spending $8 billion a year on mental health services. It hasn't changed the suicide rate at all. And we're failing miserably in this country in mental health. And 46,000 of our fellow citizens committed suicide last year. Amazingly to me now, the leading cause of death in America, between 18 and 45 are drug overdose deaths. And fentanyl has become a scourge on this country. And I think it's imperative on your shop and the college here to make sure we educate these young people. Do not touch a pill that anybody hands you unless you open the package you just got from Walgreens or CVS or wherever you buy your medication, because it can be lethal, and it is lethal. And it's 108,000 Americans died last year of drug. That's incredible when you think about it. So I applaud what you're doing. And I would just encourage you to do more, and that any way this board can help if you don't have the resources. And I think you've done a good job of removing the stigma of reaching out for help. I think that's been a blockade for people who are afraid, especially men, to step forward and say that, hey, I need some help here. So anyway, if you had asked me a question, Dr. Ball, 15 minutes before I took an organic chemistry exam or a calculus exam, I would have been very anxious.
Yes.
On that note, do the students, are they required to take any type of either life skills class or an orientation where healthy living habits, healthy relationships are discussed? Or is there anything like that that they have to do to graduate?
So all of our incoming freshmen are required to take APSU 1000. It's not dedicated to that topic, but that it is covered in that area. And we do, again, we have our coordinator for prevention and wellness, and that person, that's their whole job, is to reach out to every student on our campus and provide activities and information to all of our students about the topics and about the resources that are available to them. So I wish we had a whole, if I had an unlimited budget and we had unlimited time with our students, that would certainly be something I would jump on the bandwagon for. It's just, we have to fit it in where we can, and most of that comes from outside of the classroom though, which is why our offices exist.
You mentioned those 4 areas that you see most people are struggling with, or most students are struggling with the most.
how do you go about gaining input from the students on things that Austin P as a whole could be doing better to help students improve in those areas?
I think the surveys are a really good start. I think we're gonna get a lot of great information from the NCHA survey that we're doing this fall. One of the things that we're struggling with right now is working with outdated data because the pandemic kind of put us behind in collecting information from our students. So I think we'll do a lot with that once we have that information.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Spotlight. All right, thank you, President McCauley, and presenters, very interesting. Our next action item is from the Academic Affairs Committee. Now recognize Trustee May, Chair of the Academic Affairs Committee, to give a report on the committee meeting. Trustee May.
Thank you, Chairman Atkin. Thank you for the opportunity to present my report from this morning's Academic Affairs Committee meeting. The committee approved minutes from the June 10th, 2022 Academic Affairs Committee meeting. The committee reviewed and approved one action item, which is on the agenda for your approval today, which was the tenure upon appointment for Dr. Buzz Hoon. Provost Cronley presented information items related to degree, certificate awards by type and academic year, program productivity report, and preliminary fall enrollment. That concludes my report.
All right, thanks. Trustee May's report contained one action item that we need to consider as a full board. Trustee May, do you have a motion for the board?
Yes, you have before you the information regarding the tenure upon appointment for Dr. Buzz Hoon, Dean of the College of Arts and Letters. By direction of the committee, I move that the board approve tenure upon appointment for Dr. Buzz.
All right. Since this is a motion of the committee, a second is not required. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving tenure upon appointment of Dr. Hoon, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed or saying nay? Motion carries. Thank you, Trustee May, and congratulations, Dr. Hoon. Next item is the Audit Committee report. I recognize Trustee Miller, Chair of the Audit Committee, to give us a report of the committee meeting.
Thank you for the opportunity to present my report from today's audit committee meeting. The committee approved the minutes from the June 10th, 2022 audit committee meeting and audit committee executive session. The committee also reviewed and approved the fiscal year 2023 budget for the Office of Internal Audit. The committee heard presentations on the following information items: internal audit reports issued between May 11th, 2022 and August 16th, 2022, with a list of outstanding audit recommendations. Recent quality assurance review, Office of Internal Audit Annual Report for fiscal year 2022, an overview of recently completed external audits. This concludes my report of the audit committee.
Thank you, Trustee Miller. Our next item is the Business and Finance Committee report. And I recognize Trustee Jenkins, Chair of the Business and Finance Committee, to give us a report of the committee meeting. Trustee Jenkins.
Thank you for the opportunity to present my report from this morning's Business and Finance Committee meeting. The committee met and approved the minutes from June 10, 2022 committee meeting. There was no further action on information items on the agenda, and that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Jenkins. Next item is the executive committee report. So thank you for the opportunity to present my report from this morning's executive committee meeting. The committee approved the minutes from the June 10th, 2022 executive committee meeting. The meeting reviewed and approved one action item, which you approved today by consent. Policy 1.024, Board of Trustees, delegation of authority. The committee also reviewed and approved 3 additional action items, which I will now present for your review. First is information on the institutional mission profile statement was provided to you in advance of this meeting. By direction of the executive committee, I move that we approve the institutional mission profile statement. And since this is a motion of the committee, a second is not required. Is there any additional discussion? Here none, will ask the secretary to please call the roll.
Trustee Atkins.
Yes.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Canada.
Yes.
Trustee Hershey. Trustee Jenkins.
Yes.
Trustee May.
Yes.
Trustee McInnes.
Yes.
Trustee Miller.
Yes.
Trustee O'Malley.
Yes.
Trustee Rowe.
Yes. The motion carries. The next item is consideration of the president's performance evaluation and incentive plan for fiscal year 2022, 2023. And by direction of the executive committee, I move that we address this item at the December 2022 meeting. Since this is a motion of the committee, a second is not required. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. The next item is the election of board officers, and election of a board chair. As you were notified prior to this meeting, I am resigning from the position of board chair effective at the conclusion of today's meeting, and the board needs to elect a new chairman to serve the remainder of the current term. This, I won't get into it very deep, but I need more time at home, basically. So I'm having to cut some of my meeting time both here and at the bank, which I chair the board there. So by the direction of the executive committee, forward the nomination of Trustee Jenkins for appointment to the board chair. Are there any further nominations for board chair? Hearing no further nominations, Trustee Jenkins is the sole nominee for board chair. Therefore, I move to appoint Trustee Jenkins as board chair to serve a 2-year term. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of Trustee Jenkins for chair, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by nay? The ayes have it, and Trustee Jenkins is elected chair. Congratulations, President Jenkins. Election of a board vice chair. With Trustee Jenkins being elected chair, the board needs to select a new vice chair. And by direction of the executive committee, I move the nomination of Trustee Michael O'Malley for appointment to board vice chair. Are there any further nominations for board vice chair? Here, no further nominations. Trustee O'Malley is the sole nominee for appointment to vice chair. Therefore, I move the appointment Trustee O'Malley as board vice chair for a 2-year term. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor of Michael O'Malley for appointment to vice chair, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by saying nay? The ayes have it, and Trustee O'Malley is elected vice chair. Congratulations, Mike.
Trustee Jenkins, Chairman Jenkins, there was an error in the notes that I gave you. This is actually not a 2-year term. This election is to the end of this term. So,
Yes.
can we, what do we need to do
In
to
your motion.
amend the motion to delete the words for a 2-year term, correct?
Correction, we amend that motion because we've already passed it.
Yeah.
So don't we need to do another motion because we've already passed those first 2 motions. So we can't amend a motion that's already been passed, right?
So restate the amendment.
We need to just do it completely. new
Well-
motion.
Yep.
2 new motions.
That's my error, sir. So do we go back to the chair first?
The chair will make his motion
Or
to remove the 2-year term, to just say what the term, to say what the term is. Instead of the 2-year term, it is for the remainder of this term.
for We,
or vice chair?
for vice chair, then we're gonna need to go back and do the same thing for the board chair, because they
Oh, there too.
same errors in the documentation I gave you, sir. So which do we, in what
So
order?
make it, you'll need to make a new motion for approval of Don Jenkins to serve as chair for the remainder of this term.
Okay.
Instead of what was just recently.
Yes.
So that needs to be stated in the motion too. Otherwise, that first motion will still be in place, and then we'll have this other one.
My turn.
Parliamentary person.
Does everybody understand the amendment to the motion? To restate it, it would be for trustee Jenkins to serve as chair for the remainder of my term, which will be 1 year from now.
Instead of the first motion for a 2-year term.
And you want to, can we include, Mr. O'Malley's in the same, or does it need to be?
Let's do 2 separate ones.
Okay,
Okay.
so has that motion effectively been?
We have that motion, we have a second.
Did you make the motion? Because I don't, I'm sorry, I missed it. I thought we were still in discussion.
Make sure you say instead of the 2-year term.
Is there any discussion?
Are you gonna cut my plate?
I'd like to call me Mr. Jenkins, and 2 zeros now. Double your. Discussion. All those in favor of the amendment to the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, signify by saying nay.
Sorry, but I don't mean to be a stickler, but it's not an amendment to the motion. It's a brand new motion.
That's what.
Since it's going in the record, we need to make sure it's correct, especially, you know what I mean?
So make your motion to strike the original motion. And move that, and also appoint Don Jenkins as chair for the remaining term. Can Carrie make the motion herself?
Yeah, let me just.
Sure can. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll make a motion that we strike the original motion, the last 2 motions that were done for chair of the board that will be to fulfill the remaining term. And that Don Jenkins be appointed as chair of the Board of Trustees to fill the remaining term of the chair role of the Board of Trustees.
Second,
All right, you've heard the motion amendment again. So all those in favor, we have a motion and a second, so those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed, no. Motion carries. All right, everybody clear? You cleared it, we got it?
Or do the
No,
same
do
thing.
the vice chair.
Do the same thing for the vice chair.
We need to do this. We need to do this.
Go ahead, Carrie.
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion.
Same thing. You restate a motion for vice chair amendment also.
Yes, sir. Future business leaders of America, parliamentary procedure has come in handy today. Okay, I make a motion that we strike the original motion that was appointing Don Jenkins, or excuse me, that was appointing Mike O'Malley as vice chair for a 2-year term, and instead elect Mike O'Malley to fill the remainder of the term as vice chair of the Board of Trustees.
second,
All right, any questions to that, any discussion? If not, you've heard the motion and second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nays? Motion carries.
My apologies for the errors. sir.
That's quite all right. Our next item is Student Affairs Committee, and I recognize trustee McInnes, Chair of the Student Affairs Committee, to give us a report on the committee meeting. Trustee McInnes.
Thank you, Chairman Atkins, and thank you for the opportunity to present my report from this morning's Student Affairs Committee meeting. The committee met and approved the minutes from the June 10th, 2022 committee meeting. The committee also reviewed and approved 1 action item, which is on the agenda for your approval today. Consideration of revisions to the student trustee selection process. Mr. Chairman, this concludes my report.
Trustee McInnes' report contains 1 action item that we need to consider as a full board. Trustee McInnes, do you have a motion for the board?
Yes, sir. Fellow trustees, you have information before you regarding the revisions to the student trustee selection process. By direction of the Student Affairs Committee, I move to approve the revisions to the student trustee selection process as presented.
All right, Since this is a motion of the committee, a second is not required. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the revisions, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by saying nay. Motion carries, and thank you, trustee McInnes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
The next is information item from SAC COC, Centennial Reaffirmation Overview. Moving on to our information items, I recognize Dr. Tucker Brown, Senior Vice President, Associate Vice President for Academic Affairs, to provide SAC COC overview.
Thank you, Chairman Atkins. APSU Board of Trustees, it is my pleasure to take the next few moments to provide just a brief overview of APSU's upcoming 10-year reaccreditation process. The first thing I'll present is our CCR process and timeline. And just to sort of give you an overview, you may hear this term CCR throughout the presentation. What we're referring to here is actually our reaffirmation report. So this is the our assertion of compliance with each of the 14 standards of accreditation. The report touches nearly every aspect of the university's operations. To give you some idea of sort of the size and scope of this thing, it's roughly 300 pages of narrative, somewhere between 7,000 to 1,000 pages of evidence. It is very large, and it touches really all the aspects of the university operations, from academics to athletics to everything in between. So a couple of just highlights regarding our timeline. We began working on this, well, really we're kind of always working on this, but we began working on this in April of 2022. We have a 30-member writing team. We began initially drafting the report. And like I said, this team represents really a lot of different aspects and operations of the campus. The next sort of big dates I want to point to, December of 2022. This is when we will send our first draft of our CCR to Dr. Steve Shealy. He is our SAC COC consultant. He's a former SAC COC vice president, so we've contracted with him. Really excited to have him be part of this project, so he will help us move that forward. The second date I want to point to is September of 2023, and that's really when we kind of go live. So that's when we're going to submit our draft to the SAC COC offsite evaluation team. And from there, they will take that, digest that, and then in early of April 2024, we will have an on-site reaffirmation visit. And so that team will come to the campus and ask any questions that they may have that have arisen from the review of our CCR. Next, I want to just highlight a couple of the key standards that sort of guide our operations here at Austin Peay. Many of you are probably already familiar with these. The first one is the principle of integrity. This is the idea that the institution operates with integrity in all matters. This is actually the one standard that we don't report on. SAC COC makes a judgment on this standard based on everything else that we submit in our CCR, as well as their on-site. Second one we have is the institutional mission. This is standard 2.1. This is the idea that the institution has a clearly defined, comprehensive, and published mission specific to the institution and appropriate for higher education. The mission addresses teaching and learning, and where applicable, research and public service. So with respect to standard 2.1, our process for reviewing and revising our mission has been consistent with SAC COC expectations. We also plan to utilize our vision and value statements to fully address all aspects of this standard. And then standard 4.2a is mission review. This states that the governing board ensures the regular review of the institution's mission. And the bylaws of this body clearly state that the mission review happens at a minimum of every 3 years. We have the requisite evidence to show that this is happening. Next, I'm going to just touch on a few of the relevant standards as they really specifically relate to the APSU Board of Trustees. The first one is standard 4.1, governing board characteristics. This states that the institution will have a governing board of at least 5 members. It is the legal body with specific authority over the institution, exercises fiduciary oversight of the institution, ensures that both the presiding officer of the board and the majority of other voting members of the board are free of any contractual, employment, personal, or familial financial interest in the institution, is not controlled by a minority of the board members or by organizations or institutions separate from it, and last but not least, is not presided over by the chief executive officer of the institution. So all of these characteristics are well specified in our APSU Board of Trustees bylaws. We have the evidence necessary to support our assertion of compliance on each of these parts of the standard. This evidence will include things like training materials, organizational charts, and the aforementioned bylaws. We do not anticipate any issues with this standard. A few more to highlight here. I promise it'll be brief. Standard 4.2B is the board distinction. This is the notion that the governing board ensures a clear and appropriate distinction between the policymaking function of the board and the responsibility of the administration and faculty to administer and implement policy. Article 3 of the board bylaws covers the powers and duties for this body, as well as the board's prerogative to delegate certain authority and duties to the president. So we will be in compliance with 4.2B. 4.2C is the CEO evaluation selection component. The governing board selects and regularly evaluates the institution's chief executive officer. There's annual evidence that this body evaluates the APSU president, as well as plenty of material to evidence the board's role in selecting President LaCar. 4.22D is our conflict of interest standard. This is states that the governing board defines and addresses potential conflict of interest for its members. You all have been trained on the university's conflict of interest policy and the section of the board bylaws that covers the conflict of interest. We will use the template form for reporting conflicts of interest and illustrate this process to SAC COC. 4.2E, board dismissal. Governing board has appropriate and fair processes for the dismissal of a board member. APSU has had no cause at this point to dismiss a board member, but the process for dismissal is outlined in Article 3, Section 9 of the bylaws. These processes align with all SAC COC requirements. 4.2F is the external influence standard. The governing board protects the institution from undue influence by external persons or bodies. Article 3, Section 5, Item F of the board laws states that the board members of the board bylaws states that board members should be free from undue influence from political, religious, or other external bodies and should protect APSU from such influence. 4.2G is our board self-evaluation. This states that the governing board will define and regularly evaluate its responsibilities and expectations. You all reflect on your responsibilities and conduct a self-evaluation in a biennial process. And you will be conducting that again between this meeting and your December meetings. So we will evidence that as our compliance to 4.2G. And then last, but certainly not least, 13.2C, financial documents. The member institution provides an annual budget that is preceded by sound planning, subject to sound fiscal procedures, and is approved by the governing board. For this standard, we will show evidence that you all review and approve the proposed budget annually, which you had just completed at our June meeting. That is what I have for the presentation today. Thank you all for the time. If anyone has questions, I'll happily take them.
Thank you, Dr. Brown. Does anyone have any questions? Dr. Brown?
I just want to thank you for your hard work in the university community on this. In 1993-94, I was on the SACS accreditation committee for the university as president of the Student Government Association here.
Yes.
And I know firsthand what a great deal of work that is to get done and the amount of labor and time. And that was just as a student. So I had no idea, of course, I was just focused on helping with the student piece, but thank everybody. That's huge.
I really appreciate it. It's a lot of work. We are in a really good place with it. We're feeling really confident moving forward. We had a 5-year, we have a 5-year check-in with SAC COC and we came out of that unscathed, which is fairly rare. They do typically find some things, at least with external review. And by the time they get to the on-site review, usually clarify everything. But then we had no findings at the 5th year. We were feeling really good about where we are with this and we're way out in front of it. So.
Well, if we can help you in any way, including having a dinner with whoever comes to visit here,
Well,
please just let us know.
I'm glad that you mentioned that. That will be part, that some version of that will certainly be part of the on-site visit. So they'll certainly want to meet with the board, whether it's lunch or dinner. We'll be sending out lots of invitations. And
We'll bring goo-goo clusters, whatever.
I might need your phone number for that help piece. So
Yeah. Thanks, Dr. Brown. Any other questions or comments, Dr. Brown?
In closing, I just want to say, you noticed today that our
presentation was fairly short. The presentation itself will become part of our evidence of continuing professional development for the board and education on our SAC standards. If you're interested in seeing all of the standards, and by the way, this, you saw just a very small slice, we can provide that information. The SAC standard book is about this large when printed out in hard copy form. And I just want to add my kudos and congratulations and appreciation to the team. Dr. Brown's really leading the effort. He's coordinating all of the teams that are doing writing right now. I'm very fortunate in that I have a great team backing us up, and really from not just in academic affairs, but across the institution. Every division in the institution has stepped up and helping to write the reaffirmation report. Kyle is also very instrumental in that. We're lucky to have such great writers and well-organized people in our team leading this effort. So I just want to recognize them. So
Thanks.
thank you, Chairman Atkins.
Our next item is a update on our health professions building. This time I recognize Mark Butler, Director of Capital Planning, Design and Construction, to provide us an update on the health professions building.
Good morning, Trustee Atkins and members of the board. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share with you today the progress we've made on the health professions building. I'd like to start by reviewing what has transpired to this point. If you'll recall, in 2021, the state approved $71,887,500 funding for this project. We started design September that same year. And then in March of this year, we learned that due to the COVID, the economy had become overheated in terms of supply chain and inflation, and the project design was temporarily placed on hold while we look for a path forward. As the slide shows, we are requesting an additional $32 million from the state in the fiscal year 23-24 budget. In June 10th of this year, this board approved requesting an additional $32 million for the health professions building. Then in July 13th, SBC approved proceeding with designing to the $103,887,500 without funds being in place, with the hope of the approval of that $32 million we're requesting from the state. On August 26th, we submitted the request to the Tennessee Higher Education Commission. And then in September 9th, we submitted the same request to the Tennessee Financial Administration Commission. February 23, the governor is anticipated to announce the budget. In May of next year, the legislature approves that state budget. And then in summer 23, funding we're hoping will be in place so that construction can begin and classes can be held in the building August 2025. The last four items are asterisk because we really don't know the dates. We don't know the months in some cases. So these are anticipated, hoped for, I should say. The following slides, I'll review the schematic design. This is the, this is the site plan showing how the health professions building will be situated on the site. It's an L-shaped 4-story building located at the corner of Marion and 8th Street. To the right is Maynard Mathematics. At the bottom of the slide is Music Mass Comm and 8th Street. On the left side is Marion Street. The site is very prominent. So the building will be a great place to see and be seen. There is a, this is the building from the southeast in between Art and Design and Traherne. There's a buffer plaza between 8th Street and the west facade with parking to the east and the south. And on this side, there are two primary entrances. Material is red brick, which is important for contextual architectural context. And there are a lot of metal panels and glazing throughout. This is a bird's eye view from Marion looking southeast. It shows one of the west entrances under the cantilevered portion of the 3rd floor. The east-west wing is 4 floors and the north-south wing is 3 floors. The building has 7 classrooms, offices for 177 faculty, staff, and grad students, 74 teaching labs, and 27 clinical spaces. This is the view from the east looking toward campus. There are two entrances on this side. At the inside corner is an entrance for the entire building that comes in at the second floor. And about halfway down the north-south wing is the dedicated entrance to the clinic, which is approximately centered in that wing. This is the first or the ground floor. 8th Street's the bottom of the slide. Marion is again at the left. The red arrows indicate the entrances. And there are 2 large classrooms that can be converted into 4 smaller ones with operable dividers. Also on this, when the wall separating the study area, mezzanine area, can be opened up and converted to an 8,500 square foot venue space. And just to put that in perspective, the Morgan Ballroom is 6,000 square feet, and Memorial Health's gym is about 17,000 square feet. So it's right in between. It'd be a nice space for people to congregate. This is the second floor. It will house the speech, language, pathology, and psychological counseling clinics, faculty and staff offices, behavioral and health science college offices, classrooms, and more study spaces. It will overlook the atrium area below on the ground floor, and the red arrow indicates the entrance to the building, with the blue one indicating the dedicated entrance to the clinic. The third floor is nursing and social work. Social work has a teaching lab that will simulate a home with a kitchen, bedrooms, and a living room. And nursing will have sim labs that replicate hospital rooms, birthing rooms, doctor's offices, and a hospital floor with a nursing station. This floor also has study areas and more faculty and staff offices. And the last floor, the fourth floor, primarily medical lab science with wet labs, including hematology, phlebotomy, chemistry, and microbiology labs. And again, there are more faculty offices and study areas. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my remarks. I'll be glad to take any questions you might have.
Just one question. It's not gonna look like the library does it? In the middle of this
No,
campus,
sir.
because
Thankfully, no.
that's been a sore spot for me for 50 years. Ugly looking building in the middle of this beautiful campus. So please don't have it look.
Well, how you're looking at, how you're seeing it now, it will look very, very close to this.
Mark, my memory serves me right. This started out 4 or 5 years ago, estimated 80 or so million in cost, and now we're up 130. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a real challenge, and it is a challenge nationwide, global challenge.
Sure.
It's just, we're chasing, it makes it impossible to plan. The construction manager on this is carrying about 0.75% per month inflation. Unprecedented. And supply chain.
Pandemic and other
Oh, yeah.
issues have affected.
The supply chain is really, it's long COVID. You might call it a different term for that, but yeah, we're seeing the results of this. It's just, you cannot plan in this sort of environment.
Thank you for that report. Any other questions or
Just
comments?
a question, if we, do you know what the likelihood of getting the additional 32 million? And if we don't, is there a contingency plan?
I'm very hopeful that we'll get the 32 million. It's out there. State FNA has talked about it. HEC has talked about it. State Building Commission knows about it. I mean, it is out there as well as it can be. The contingency is, it will be very, very challenging. And primarily because of the third floor. The third floor is mostly nursing, and it covers both things. And we have enough money on hand now to do north, east, west, that runs along here. We have that much money, but the problem is, by doing that, we're taking out the clinic, doing just that. We're taking out the clinic, we're taking out half of nursing. And even with that, when we ran the numbers, we were short. And nobody wants to build this building without those components. This is a comprehensive health building. And if we take out one of those units, then we've really impacted the the program that was sold and hoped for as a comprehensive health building.
Any other comments?
Yeah, I have a safety question. The size of this building and the occupancy, you started on the first floor. Is there a sub area for a storm shelter or something?
We will have rooms that are designed for without windows that people.
Inner rooms? Yeah.
Great report. I think a lot of us get a lot of community questions. I even had one in Nashville the other day from a nurse at one of the hospitals. What's happening to our health professional building now? It's in progress and in good hands. It'll be there. So thank you for the report.
Okay, thank you.
Our next item is the president's report. At this time, I recognize President McCarty to give his report and also report on any interim items you may have. President McCarty.
Thank you, Chairman Atkins. There are a lot of events and activities underway this fall on campus. We'll be in Huntsville, Alabama for the football game tomorrow against Alabama A&M. Prior to the game, we're holding an alumni event. We've got a large concentration of Austin Peay alums in the Huntsville area. And so it's exciting to be able to gather them together and cheer for the team, have an event beforehand so that I and others can meet with them. We've got such a concentration of alums in the Huntsville area, actually, that we have now stationed an admissions recruiter in the location in order to recruit prospective students to Austin Peay. Next week, of course, is homecoming. We've got a number of dinners and receptions, of course, on Friday. The parade at 10 in the morning on Saturday next week. The Distinguished Alumni Awards luncheon on Saturday at 11:30 in the University Center Ballroom. And then, of course, join us for tailgating before the game, and the kickoff is at 3 in the afternoon versus Eastern Kentucky. So it should be a great day. It's always a great day to be a Gopher. In October, we've got a number of events. We'll dedicate the Harville Quad on October 6th. The Veterans Reconnect Summit is October 10th and 11th. This is funded by a grant that we got from the state, from THEC, in order to host a statewide summit, a conference dedicated to improving the access to higher education for veterans in the state of Tennessee. So very excited that we're the host of that. On October 14th, we will dedicate the Maynard Family Athletics Complex. And of course, a couple of weeks ago, it was great to have Ron and Andrea Morton back to campus to cut the ribbon on the Morton Family Track. So there's a lot of great things going on campus. In the June meeting, I ran through some statistics for the board in my remarks about the challenging slide in the college going rate in Tennessee, really throughout the nation. And as we move through the fall semester, it's pretty clear that across the state, enrollment it remains a mixed bag at best. Economic pressures continue to challenge us in terms of recruiting prospective students. And the job market even remains an attractive option for many recent high school graduates. And so clearly, we all need to work to help prospective students and their parents understand that going to college, especially going to Austin Peay, is a wise investment. We're affordable, and about half of our graduates graduate with no debt at all. For those who do graduate with debt, it's well below the state and national averages. And we all know that a college degree means greatly improved earnings throughout the course of one's life and a significant reduction in the likelihood of being unemployed. To continue to work hard at enrollment, I've created an enrollment task force to generate new ideas to ensure an ongoing coordinated effort to recruit new students. This pulls from the usual areas of admissions, financial aid, and marketing, but it also includes areas such as housing, our Fort Campbell Center, and athletics. The group's got a few meetings under its belt already, and I'm excited about the new ideas and efforts that are coming out of that group and that will be implemented this year. A lot of good news on campus. You've got an annual report in front of you from the Alumni Engagement and Philanthropy Division. And a quick flip through it will demonstrate the support that we have from our alums, friends, donors, and investors. We had a record year this past fiscal year. Congratulations to everybody in the Advancement Division. Chris Phillips, as Vice President there, is running a great operation. I'm incredibly proud of what we've been able to accomplish in a very short period of time. It's my great pleasure to announce a $200,000 grant from THEC to conduct research on how to better support veterans in their pursuit of college education. This is brand new. This is news that is just breaking literally within the last 48 hours. So I'm very happy. Everybody on my leadership team knows that I'm very keen on maintaining our competitive advantage regarding military affiliated students, and this will help us improve our ability to provide a successful educational journey for our veterans and our military affiliated students. In the world of academics, we have new ABET accredited programs in engineering, physics, computer information systems, computer information technology, and computer science. ABET is the gold standard for engineering accreditation. And so for 4 more of our academic programs to achieve that standard, that's a heavy lift. And it is a national stamp of approval. It's the gold standard. So very, very proud of those programs and the faculty involved. Campus security and safety is, of course, paramount importance. And our Austin Peay campus police took first place in the University Police category in the Tennessee Highway Safety Office Law Enforcement Challenge. That actually included universities, all universities in Tennessee, but also in Georgia as well. So we're state champs across Tennessee and Georgia. And in August, we graduated the first cohort from the nationally accredited Grow Your Own Teacher Residency, recognized Grow Your Own Teacher Residency program. There's a lot of press going around. There's some other orange-based universities that are trying to steal credit from us by claiming that they started it. They did not, we did. And we graduated 41 students who are now moving right into their teaching roles. We are the first to do it. We started it here, and I'm incredibly proud of the partnership that we have between our university, the College of Education, and the Clarksville Montgomery County school system. We are directly addressing the challenges that the country is facing with a national teacher shortage. And so I'm very, very proud of them. One of the things that I like to do on campus on Fridays is ride around in a golf cart with some swag because we have See Red Fridays. And I see a lot of board members that aren't wearing red. So what I do is I ride around looking for students who aren't wearing red. I give them some red so that they can join us in See Red Fridays.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh,
There we go. Let's see, advancement. Yeah, really. Now, see, there you go. It does. I got those on too today.
He has a pretty good.
Go back to Nashville later.
So I like to have a little fun and make sure that the students are able to join us in Seeing Red on Fridays. At this point, I want to say thank you to Billy Atkins for his leadership of the Board of Trustees over the past 14 months. Thank you for your personal support, but especially thank you for your commitment and support of Austin Peay. It's meant a lot. And I'm very grateful that you are remaining on the board. But since you did such a fine job as chairman, I'd like to present you this.
Thank you. very much. My daughter's gonna take those away from me. So I tell you what. Oh, I know how to get some. We got a lot of faith, it's mostly tissue. Yeah. Well, thanks for the tissue. I'll use it. There you go. Oh, well, I need another help. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
And I also want to say thank you to Don and Mike for stepping into your roles as chair and vice chair. I look forward to working with you as you fill out those terms. Well, thank you really for doing that. It's a lot, and the pay isn't very good. So it did, yes. So finally, your packet includes lists of contracts and agreements that have been executed, as well as state building commission actions that have occurred since the last board meeting in June. And so, Mr. Chairman, thank you. That concludes my remarks.
Thank you.
President, can I have a point of personal privilege?
Absolutely.
I've known our chairman for more than 50 years. And much
I used to have to listen to his mother.
Well, I
We
just
worked
wanted-
together for a number of years.
They did, and Billy's been a dear friend and an incredible supporter of this university, of this community, and created really hundreds of jobs and made life better. And Billy, from me to you personally, thank you for your service.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions from President Licari? Then that means that it concludes our agenda. And as a reminder, our next regular monthly scheduled meeting, quarterly meeting will take place on December the 2nd, 2022. So make time out of your Christmas shopping, study our material and attend the meeting. And with that, I move that we adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
We move second, meeting adjourned. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Can't imagine. Let's have it. We're adjourned. Thanks, everybody. Thanks to all the presenters.